I still remember the day Clara told me she wanted to learn guitar. She'd always loved music, and when she said it was something she'd dreamed of since childhood, I jumped at the chance to support her. I surprised her with a beautiful mahogany acoustic guitar and even found a local teacher who came highly recommended, Ethan. He was in his late 30s, a little rugged, with an easy smile and an air of quiet confidence that set him apart. I didn't think much of it at first. After all, I wanted Clara to be happy. The first few lessons were a joy for both of us. She'd come home, cheeks flushed with excitement, eager to show me the chords she'd learned. I loved seeing her so animated. It felt like we were connecting in a way we hadn't in years. But it wasn't long before subtle changes started to slip in. She started staying at Ethan's studio longer and longer. Her explanations were always the same. "We just lost track of time." Or, "I was really getting the hang of a new song." I wanted to believe her. For months I did. Then, it was the little things that began to gnaw at me. She'd come home smelling faintly of cologne that wasn't mine. She'd smile distractedly when I asked about her day, as though her mind was somewhere else. Her phone, once left carelessly on the coffee table, now never left her side, even when she showered. If I asked about it, she'd snap, "Why are you being so paranoid?" One evening, she came home especially late, the hour hand creeping past midnight. She looked radiant, eyes shining in a way I hadn't seen in years. I reached out to hug her, and she stiffened for a brief second before forcing a smile. That's when I knew. A gut feeling, cold and sharp, settled deep in my chest. I tried to fight it, to shake it off as irrational jealousy. But once the doubt took root, it grew faster than I could contain. A week later, I made an excuse to leave work early and drove to Ethan's studio. I parked across the street, hidden by the darkening evening. My heart hammered as I waited. Lights glowed warmly inside, two shadows moved in the window, and laughter drifted faintly through the night air. What I saw next broke me. As the lesson ended, Clara stepped closer to Ethan. He tucked a strand of her hair behind her ear, his fingers lingering just a little too long. Then she leaned in and kissed him, soft, lingering, intimate. I felt like the air had been sucked from my lungs. In that moment, everything inside me shattered. I don't know how long I sat there, staring at them as they walked to his car hand in hand. My thoughts were a storm of anger, betrayal, and heartache. Memories of our wedding day flashed in my mind. Her laugh, the way she looked at me like I was the only man in the world. I thought about the late nights we spent planning our future, the quiet mornings sipping coffee on the porch. Were any of those moments real? Or had our marriage always been balanced on a fragile illusion? That night, I drove aimlessly through our town, past the places we'd made memories together, the diner where we had our first date, the bookstore where she surprised me with a signed copy of my favorite novel, the park where we'd talked about having kids. Everywhere I looked, reminders of a life I thought we were building together. When I finally walked through the door, she was home, humming softly as she wiped down the kitchen counter. She looked up, startled to see me. "You're home early," she said, her voice light but her eyes wary. I wanted to confront her right then, to scream, to demand the truth, but the words caught in my throat. Instead, I just stared at her, studying the face I once adored. How could she stand there, acting like nothing was wrong? How could she look me in the eye and pretend? The woman I loved, or thought I loved, was slipping away, and I had no idea how to stop it. That night, I lay awake beside her, listening to the soft rhythm of her breathing. I wondered if she was dreaming of him. The thought made my chest ache. My mind was a whirlwind. Should I confront her now, or wait until I had proof? Part of me wanted to cling to the hope that it was a mistake, that what I saw was something I'd misunderstood. But deep down, I knew the truth. In the days that followed, I became an actor in my own life. I smiled when I had to, made small talk, pretended everything was fine. Meanwhile, every night, I replayed the moment I saw them together, dissecting every detail. The more I thought about it, the more patterns I noticed. The excuses, the sudden passion for practicing late, the way she'd pull away when I tried to be close. One evening, as she tuned her guitar in the living room, I asked casually, "How's Ethan?" She looked up sharply, eyes wide for a split second before she composed herself. "Fine," she said, her voice too bright. "Why do you ask?" I shrugged, trying to hide the storm raging inside me. "Just wondering." She turned back to her guitar, but her hands trembled. I knew then that she could feel the walls closing in, just as I felt the floor disappearing beneath my feet. A week after I saw Clara kiss Ethan, I reached my breaking point. The charade of normalcy was becoming unbearable, each forced smile cutting deeper than the last. I knew I couldn't keep pretending, couldn't keep lying to myself. One evening, I decided the time had come. I needed answers, or at least the truth spoken out loud. She was in the den, strumming softly, humming along to a song I didn't recognize. Her eyes were closed, lost in the music. It struck me that this was the most alive I'd seen her in months, and the realization nearly knocked the wind out of me. Was he the reason for her happiness? Had our life together become so hollow that I couldn't inspire that spark anymore? I cleared my throat. She looked up, startled. "Hey," she said, forcing a smile. "You're home early again." I stepped closer, heart pounding so hard I felt it in my ears. "Clara, we need to talk." She paused, guitar still in her lap. "Sure. About what?" I sat down across from her, meeting her eyes. "About you. About Ethan. About what's really been going on." For a moment, the room fell deathly silent. Then she blinked, her mouth opening and closing like she was searching for words. "I don't know what you mean," she said, but her voice quavered. "I saw you," I said, my voice low, trembling. "At his studio. I saw you kiss him." The color drained from her face. Her eyes darted away, then back to me. I didn't want you to find out like this. So it's true?" I asked, voice cracking. "You've been having an affair?" She set the guitar down carefully, as if afraid it might break from her shaking hands. "I never meant for it to happen," she whispered, tears welling in her eyes. "Ethan, it just started with the music. We connected over songs, and I felt alive with him in a way I haven't felt in so long." Each word stabbed deeper than the last. "And I wasn't enough?" I asked. "Everything we built, our marriage, was that worth so little to you?" She buried her face in her hands, sobbing. "It's not that I don't love you," she cried. "But somewhere along the way, I stopped feeling like myself. I needed something more." "Something more?" I snapped. "So you found it in another man's arms?" She looked up, eyes red, voice small. "I'm so sorry." But the words rang hollow. Sorry didn't erase the nights I lay awake wondering what I'd done wrong. Sorry didn't erase the memory of seeing her choose someone else. A bitter laugh escaped me, raw and jagged. "I guess I always thought love was enough. That if we tried hard enough, we could get through anything." She reached for my hand, but I pulled back, unable to bear her touch. "What do you want now, Clara?" I asked quietly. "Do you want to stay with him? Do you want to keep pretending with me?" "I don't know," she admitted, voice barely audible. "I'm so lost." That night, I slept on the couch. I lay there staring at the ceiling, replaying every memory. Our first date at the old diner, our wedding vows under the oak tree, the countless nights we whispered dreams to each other. All of it felt like a cruel joke now. Scenes from a life I thought was real, but was apparently only half-lived. In the days that followed, we lived like strangers under the same roof. We spoke only when necessary, avoiding each other's eyes. She stopped going to Ethan's lessons, but the silence between us grew louder with every passing day. One morning, I found her sitting at the kitchen table with a packed bag beside her. "I think I need to go," she said softly. "I need to figure out who I am, what I want. I can't do that here." I nodded. Part of me wanted to beg her to stay, to promise we could fix it. But another part, a wounded, wiser part, knew it was over. "If that's what you need," I said, voice breaking, "then go." She hesitated, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I'm so sorry," she whispered one last time, then walked out the door, leaving an emptiness so profound it felt like the world had gone silent. In the weeks that followed, I moved through the days like a ghost. Friends and family tried to reach out, but I wasn't ready to talk. I spent hours sorting through our things, packing away photos, letters, and mementos of a marriage that no longer existed. It was during one of those late nights, as I sat alone in the darkened living room, that I realized something. I'd lost her, yes, but I hadn't lost myself. Beneath the grief, a fragile thread of hope began to form. I started going for long runs in the morning, feeling the crisp air fill my lungs. I dusted off my old hobbies, woodworking, photography, things I'd let fall by the wayside while trying to keep our marriage alive. Slowly, painfully, I began to rediscover the parts of me I'd forgotten. Some nights, the loneliness felt unbearable. But on others, I felt a strange sense of peace, a quiet strength that whispered I could survive this. That maybe, one day, I'd find someone who truly chose me, every day, without hesitation. And until then, I promised myself I'd learn to be enough for me.